Hi, I'm Grateful Ted. Thanks for being here because I really appreciate the time that you invest in watching these videos. Now, regular viewers may know that I haven't been around much lately, and that's because I had an accident. And I'm going to explain here in a minute how I got from this to this. Okay? But first, I want to tell you I recently made a discovery. Did you know that these sewing kits here actually come, hang on, with cookies inside of them? Who knew? Anyway, longtime viewers know that I frequently use my e-scooter when going around town here. They've seen me taking off from the house. And about 5 weeks ago, I was going to a meeting here in town and decided to take my e-scooter. Now, I do my e-scooter pretty well, I have to admit. I do have balance issues, but for the fact, most of the time I ride it just fine. And the e-scooter has an accelerator that you push down with the thumb. And then when you let up, it comes up to and it stops. Also, I've gone up hills before, but on the way to this meeting, I had to go up a fairly steep hill. And I got about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way to the top, and I was just too fat and heavy for it to make it all the way. No problem. So I let go of the accelerator and I stepped off and I'm on the asphalt, but the accelerator got stuck and it went from 0 to 20 kilometers an hour instantaneously, and it jerked me and it pulled me around and slammed me into the asphalt. Well, I hit the asphalt pretty hard, and interestingly enough, I hit face first. Actually, I hit right here, and it completely shattered my glasses, and it gave me a pretty deep bruise on my forehead here. I was bleeding fairly profusely, and what I didn't know until later is that it broke this arm. I was there in the middle of the street. It was a non-busy street. I purposely took a non-busy street to go up that hill, thank goodness. And there I was in the middle of the street, writhing in pain, and this woman drove up, saw what was going on, and called 911. Eventually, the paramedics came, and they wound up taking me to the emergency room. One of the things that I found really interesting, I'm retired, and here in the U.S. we have this thing called Medicare, and I'm on Medicare. And I'm thankful that Medicare, all my Medicare plans paid for the vast majority of the medical that went on. One of the things that really surprised me is that the EMTs from the ambulance, they were with me for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes, checking me out before they put me on a gurney, loaded me in the car, took me to the ER at the hospital, and it was over $1,800 US for that. Medicare paid for most of it, but I still had to pay for a little over 300 of that. And when you add the doctor's appointments and the emergency room fees, the x-rays, the MRI, my brain was really, really not working right for a good week and a half. I couldn't think straight. It's still a slight bruise here on the forehead. I had a deep bruise on the knee. I had a deep bruise in one of my ribs. So all of that was something. It really was something. and I found out I had a broken elbow and I had a couple of fractures along this arm here, and I couldn't use it. It was pretty well, you know, for the first week or so, it was up against me, and all I could use was my left hand, and I'm right-handed. And I couldn't type, I couldn't do anything. Now, these 5 weeks later, it's still difficult for me to use my right hand, although I went to the doctor, I think a week ago today, actually, and they took some more x-rays, and he said it's healing the way it's supposed to, and that it should be almost normal in a month. Now, between the time they put the splint on in the emergency room, they took it off about a week later, but during that week I couldn't shower. I couldn't get the splint and bandages wet. That was a major order. So I couldn't shower. I couldn't even get the shirt off that I was wearing at the time. So I had to wear that shirt for a week. Eventually the splint came off. I was able to change clothes. There's a lot of things that I still can't do. This whole time has been really hard to do anything with my right hand. Today actually is the first day that I can actually pick up a regular size camera. Luckily, I tend to film on my Pocket 3, and so it's a very light camera. This is what I'm filming on now. Also, it's really difficult for me to pick up a spoon or a fork with this hand, and I couldn't even get it up this far until about 4 days ago. So I've had to eat with my left hand, and I'm not very good at it. Weight, any kind of weight in this hand is really, it has been pretty painful. It's gradually going away. One of the things, I slapped my face into the asphalt, it shattered my glasses, and I had to use a pair of old glasses that I'd saved from years ago. The interesting thing about glasses is that the human brain adjusts to whatever the glasses are, and so after 2 or 3 weeks, I was using these and I could see much better than I could when I first had to start using them. But I did go back to where I got the glasses I was wearing at the time. These are really similar frames. Longtime viewers may remember that they were actually brown. These are black. That's about the only difference. Okay? I hope to be able to start with my regular travel and events in a week or two. It's been the best that it's ever been. To begin with, this is how my hands normally work, but once the splint came off, I could only turn it like this. Doctor told me to practice turning it like that, and right now this is all I can turn it. You can see the difference there. So it's been problematic in a variety of ways. For the first 2 weeks, I guess, I had to have help on a lot of things. Luckily, Val's been here and she's been going over and beyond the call of duty to help me out. I really, truly appreciate that. But I couldn't put my socks on. I couldn't put my pants on. I couldn't take my socks off. I couldn't take my pants off. For the most part, I've had to wear sweatpants. Now, I rarely wear sweatpants. I usually use jeans or slacks or something, but I can't pull the zipper up and down. I can't snap the top because of the pressure it puts on the arm. And most of the arm pain was right here, even though the fractures were more back here. It felt muscular rather than skeletal, but I don't know. The doctor said there were fractures, so I'm assuming that had a lot to do with it. So it's been highly problematic. I couldn't type. until about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I've had to. This week is the first time I've been able to really use a mouse, but if I use it too long, then this hand really starts to ache. And so what I've done is I've had to use my left hand, and I'm not really good left-handed, as you might imagine. We've got some things coming up here in right after Thanksgiving. I'm super going to try real hard to get out there and bring you more videos. There may be one next week, another talking head one like this, I'm not sure. But the week after Thanksgiving, I'm going to start to get back out there. But I wanted you to know what was happening, and what the future was. I didn't leave voluntarily. I'm still going to ride the e-scooter in all likelihood, but before I get off, I'm going to make sure that accelerator is off before I step off next time. Okay? Also, I want to thank all of the people who watched the video that I put up while I wasn't able to go out and film anything of going through Toy Yoda. It went kind of viral, and almost 100 people subscribed. I really appreciate it. It's important to remember that Yoda is put away for the winter, but I'm still getting out there and doing stuff. I'll be going over the Cascades. I've had my tires changed so that I can go through snow and go over the Cascades to some things in Portland. We'll see that too. So if you think you might stick around, you think you might like what you're going to see, give it a thumbs up. And I could always use subscribers, so think about using the subscriber button to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to help the channel keep going, there's a thanks button down below you can click and leave a donation. Okay? So I'm not sure. I'm going to try to have something next week, but I don't know if I can. But certainly the week after that, we'll have something right after Thanksgiving. All right? So stick around. Please come back. You guys really make what I do day to day worth it, and I appreciate it. So we will see you next time.